think about your year. I went to things I never would have gone to. I was at the Met Gala, like I was never invited before. I was at the Obama's prom, which was great. I was at the Thanksgiving Day parade, front row seats, unlike other years. I was at the presidential inauguration. So the Sundance Film Festival, and each one of those, the stories are the same. They extended their reach beyond what was their normal reach. So if I were to look back on the past year and give out grades, I would give us an A for content. There was great content, keynotes, classes, really good content. I would give the industry a C minus for monetization and social engagement. And it's those two things that we're going to look at in this meeting today. And I'll explain how in a second. But in the coming months, we're going to look at a very different 2021. And I know you're all hearing it's going to be the year of the hybrid. But I got to tell you, just streaming your live event does not a hybrid make. And really, what I want everybody to walk away from this event think about is what we learned is about virtual engagement can be 365 days a year, can be all over the world, can be the right skills at the right moment at the right time, and should not be just a streaming of what you did live. And so we're just going to keep looking at different examples of how this gets done. And if you look at, I cover, as many of you know, other areas, retail, health, finance. The main lesson in this pandemic, which had started before, was the omni-channel, how to be at the right channel at the right time in the right place for your customers. And events really lagged behind in this thinking about this. So Jim Louderback, who I think is on the call, always calls it IRL versus URL. I'm going to posit we've got a new one coming called MRL, mixed real life. And we're going to look at a combination for 365-day-a-year engagement with your audiences, some physical, some virtual, some combinations. And I spoke to John Padgett the other day. John is the guy he built the Disney Magic Band and then the Carnival Cruise Medallion, and really believes in full customer engagement. And he said, the hardest thing to change is human behavior. We've just changed human behavior for 1 year. We did okay. And I think we're going to keep doing okay. So Joel, if you'll put our slides up, or other Robin, I will bring this meeting to order. This is my new gavel. I'm going full veg today. Can you see this? That means this meeting's in order. And you can see an agenda. We have a great agenda. I'm going to introduce you to Marion in a moment. And then Lawrence Coburn, who has built Twine for one-on-one engagements, is going to take over the meeting and actually let you meet each other. And we'll explain how that will work in a second. And then we're going to talk about next month's meeting. So we will go about 15 minutes longer so you can play with Twine. If you have to jump off, totally understood. And that's why I'm going to tell you we'll be back again on March 25th with Freeman talking to us about their year in the industry. And it's an Ask Me Anything with Bob Priest-Heck. And I think you'll find it just fabulously honest, enjoyable, and exciting. So next slide, Joel. Want to just point out another couple of quick things. If you go to our website, virtualeventsgroup.org, we've created reviews of like 150 platforms, 150 tools, a bunch of talent, producers, gift bags, mixologists, scavenger hunts, anything you could want for your event. We really want you to think about this taxonomy and let us know what you think. We also have a get listed button on the site. So if you feel that you have a product that should be listed, we want to know and list you on the site. So this taxonomy looks simple. It took us a lot of work, and we went back through the 150 platforms we reviewed and applied it. So when you look at the reviews of platforms, You can see whether it's a good for a trade show, it's good for networking, it's good for web conferencing, and start to see that Zoom is not like Hopin. And hopefully we all get educated. So next slide. What else did we add? We added Ask Alfred. Alfred Poor goes back to my PC Magazine publishing days, is a fabulous technologist, actually created the taxonomy, and he'll be answering questions about events. You can just ask him a question on the site. We've got the categories, we've got the guests listed. We're doing some matchmaking. So if you're looking for the right platform, we will do some matchmaking. We know the platforms well now, and we know our event planners and our event stakeholders well. Talked about the next meeting. So Joel, you can move on to the next thing. And, or other Robin, as we like to call you. I lost you. Did you bail on me, Joel? Do you have the poll?
No, I'm still here, but I think you're gonna have to run the poll. It's not working for me.
Okay. Okay, no problem. My new keyboard's in the mail, so I'm sticking my finger. No, it's not working for me either. Okay, so our poll is inactive and we don't know why. That's okay. So we'll just do like thumbs up. Can you remember what the questions were there? Question one, just give us a thumbs up. Did you make a meaningful relationship during this pandemic online? If you did, just give us a thumbs up in your reaction on Zoom or in your reaction in screen. I think people found out it was kind of possible to do that. Question two, I'm never going to remember three. Did your businesses make money this year during the pandemic? Whatever your business was, hand raise. Okay, so we survived. And I have no idea what question three on the poll was, so we're just going to skip that. We are recording this, so if you missed any of it and you came in late, that's fine. We're going to run 15 minutes over, so if you have to leave early, don't forget to mark March 25th in your book, and I'll sign up for our newsletter on the website. Keep following us. Talk to me about anything you think we're missing. We're thinking about putting a job board up next for jobs in the event business, because people are reskilling their own staffs and training new staffs, and need to meet the right people as we start to pull out of this. So with that, I'm going to introduce our first speaker, who happens to also be on our board of advisors and somebody I've worked with at the Toy Association for a long time. Marion's like no nonsense. Like, I'm going to take this off now. Marion knew that they had to serve their association members during the pandemic, and she took a really different tack. You may say, oh, not so many bells and whistles, but I think it was absolutely brilliant. And we can all learn from remembering that our customers are the ones we have to serve. So with that, I am going to shut up and turn it over to Marion, and I'll see you back soon.
All right, well, thanks a lot. But before we get started, I have to clear up a couple of things. So when Robin, I hope none of you saw Robin's original post with that headshot that was easily 15 years ago, because you won't trust anything I say, because clearly that was not really me. So I apologize for that. I didn't have the energy to say, oh, I have a new one. But step one. The second thing is that I really don't love technology. I don't care about the magic. I don't care. And I really think of myself as falling somewhere in the spectrum of, okay, Boomer and Robin. Like, I'm right in the middle. I know it's important. I know I have to use it and understand it, but I don't really care about the magic behind the curtain. I just wanted to do the stuff I needed to do. So I appreciated that Robin asked us to come and share our modest tale of success. But there was something else in that original post, Robin, and I had said to Robin that at one point one of our trade publications had said, yeah, well, you know what you really need? The site has to be more fun. We need to be Club Penguin, this and that. And I, maybe not on my best day, said, yeah, well, you know what's fun? Selling stuff. And that was where I did not carry over that title to this session, but that's kind of where we came from. So I'm going to try not to be the boomer end of the spectrum here as I go to share my screen. One moment, please. There you go. I made it. All right. I may not understand all the ins and outs of technology, but what I do understand is why we exist as an association. And I am with the Toy Association. The association's been around since 1916. New York City has hosted go-to-market events, hotels, 200 Fifth Avenue since 1903. And since 1987, we've been producing Toy Fair New York, which occupies the Javits Center every February with up to 447,000 square feet. The last few years, we have completely filled the Javits Center. That is our premium live event, but we also have Toy Fair Dallas that we hold each year in in October. So we understand why we are an association and what we do for our members. And our team, and Kimberly Carcone is on here too. We work side by side. We understand that our job is to help our members sell more product in more markets more often. And that is the beginning and the end of how we measure whether or not an endeavor is worth the effort. So we come to you with knowledge of our industry. We come to you with that association brain, that thing, you do things for a mission, not always driven by make us another 10% next year. Yes, we are profitable. Yes, we strive for profit, but it is not like a for-profit organization that beats that drum. So, one moment. Here's what happened. Back in 2013, we were approached by a developer, Balloon, out of California. And what they brought to us was that, are you aware how much the buyer journey has changed? The discovery process, the efficiency of sourcing new product. And we were aware that things were changing, but we were also aware that as consumers, we had become very comfortable with having another life online. In fact, we all knew people that had actually found their life partners. So the theory was that, well, if you can actually establish a relationship for the rest of your life online, surely that consumer behavior was going to bubble over into the way B2B acted. So we invested, and this is meaningful to us as association staff because associations are not traditionally risk takers. They're not traditionally pioneers, but the association stepped up and started to invest in the creation of a domain that would be only for the toy industry. We called it shoptoys365.com, being somewhat, well, what will the Nuremberg Toy Fair think? What will Hong Kong think if we get so bold? So we called it shoptoys365 back in 13. It didn't do that well. It really did not do that well. There was a lot of tradition in the way our industry was doing business. There was a lot of, we've got this, we've got our Rolodex, and the reps, oh my gosh, the reps, how they thought we were trying to put them out of business. We were not. But what happened back then, we just kept at it. And while we wanted year-round subscriptions, we really weren't getting them. I think at one point we had 12 year-round subscriptions, but it wasn't the goal. And then here we get to 2020. And what happened is that we had a very successful toy fair. We were the last big show at the Javits Center in February. We ended on February 25th. I had been to Nuremberg a couple of weeks before, was starting to hear all this buzz about what was going to happen. But we came through Toy Fair February unscathed. Very, very successful. But a few weeks later, we were all home. And we thought it would be for a few weeks. And we were still counting the receipts. But the world came to an end. And the trade show cycle of the toy industry came to a dead stop. So we looked inward and we said, well, we have the resources, we have the reach, and we do have the responsibility to go in even deeper. But one of the flaws of our model leading up to that point was that we relied heavily on our development partner to also help us with our marketing and sales. And because we weren't getting headcount. So we had to really look at what we could do ourselves. There's another gentleman, I saw his name pop up. I know Jackson's on the phone. I have two people who are tech savvy, and they said, well, okay, we will take on the understanding the architecture, completely rewriting what their primary job function was, because we could not rely on our developer to do this. We needed to become more self-sufficient. Our salespeople who were used to selling 10 by 10 squares on a board had to now sell a digital experience with all that training. And our marketing, that had to certainly take on a different tone. But what was important is that we knew it would still meet the mission of helping more members, sell more products in more markets more often. So on we went. Now, it didn't work so well in that 365 environment for those 8 years or 7 years. What we noticed is that because we were a trade show team, and that what was missing from our other members' lives was that, oh my gosh, licensing is not going to be taking place. ASPRA's not happening. I'm not going to be in that city at that event that moves my business forward for those 4 days. So we tried something and we said, okay, let's think like they think. Number one, let's use our premium brand, Toy Fair. The heck with the rest of the world. We are the Toy Fair. Let's change the name to Toy Fair. Let's change it to Toy Fair Everywhere. And let's also test the waters with a series of market weeks. It seemed to psychologically resonate that we could say, your commitment is for 7 days in July, 7 days in August, and 7 days in September. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, what a great idea. Now it was pretty much the same platform, but because we packaged it in a way that they understood as what was missing from their life, we went forward. How did it work out? Well, it worked out beautifully. We wound up having, over the 3 weeks, 21 days, 209 showrooms showing product with 847 brands, 33,000 products, exclusive buyers, 3,000 buyers coming to the platform over the days. Now, this was not an order writing platform. It was all about connections. It was all about, fine if they took the sale offline. But this is the kind of activity that we generated. And we did it over those 3 weeks. And it was successful, and it was profitable, and it surprised everybody. And it was ridiculously cheap, because we're an association. Our members are struggling. This is not the time to overburden them with an added investment. We saw it as a marketing exercise to say, maybe now we'll get their attention that this year-round digital option is the way to go. So we had those 3 market weeks. They went well. We came out with a head of steam, but it was September. The party was somewhat over. We had a lot of information about what else they wanted. And clearly it was that add to cart feature. There were some communication challenges of how to make the connections and who should be able to connect with whom. But there we were in October, and we thought, okay, we're going to take all that. We'll relaunch after the first of the year. But guess what? The industry is not ready to stop looking at product. So we had a conversation with Target and said, what are you doing? You're normally in LA. You're normally in Dallas at our Toy Fair Dallas. How are you going to meet with your clients? And they said, well, we're meeting with all of our existing line. We're good. We're meeting with them. I said, well, what are you using? What technology? What platform? Well, we use Zoom and PowerPoint. I was like, well, that is a really low bar. So how about we step in and serve as your net to bring in all of those companies that you would have seen walking around the other shows, the discovery piece of what we're doing. And they said, well, let's give it a try. Now, we had done something similar for Target a few years back with Inventors. So it was pretty easy to convince them that we were a trusted partner. And they're also on our board. Well, we did it. We did it. We got 100 applications. And the process was this. We, the association, sent out all call. This is what Target's looking for. They're looking for these product categories. They want women-owned business. They want Black-owned businesses. And we were able to customize the application so that the submissions that we got were exact or close to what they were looking for. And then we wash our hands. We send it over in bulk to Target. Target then says, we want to see these 30 companies, 20 companies. Then we take it back. Now we charge those companies who are going to get the appointments. And we take it all in-house and we work it through and we host for them. We did two separate private previews using their preferred technology of choice, Zoom and PowerPoint, because the customers who came in really didn't have to come in super polished. What they needed was the conversation, that meeting. So by the end of March, we're still going. This didn't end. We went through the fall with all of these brands that you see on your screen. We have QVC coming up. We have Aldi coming up. And we are still in conversations with retailers because we're still filling the void. We're still moving product and we're still generating revenue. And truthfully, this is another one. God bless this team, because they were saying, okay, now we're room monitors because we got to get the flow in and out of the rooms for them. So it was fantastic. So I want to give you a little promotional clip of Toy Fair Everywhere, and then I'll tell you where we are today.
Toy Fair Everywhere, where sellers are able to create digital showrooms with unlimited products and brands and offer full order capture solutions to sell toys and youth products to buyers. Toy Fair Everywhere, where buyers are able to find new products on our discovery page, keep up to date on all of the latest industry news, and learn all about the latest trends and much more. Toy Fair Everywhere, the toy industry's only B2B digital social marketplace that lets both sellers and buyers grow and manage their wholesale business every day, everywhere.
So we're back. Last week we reopened. If I had my druthers, we would have been able to open sooner. I don't think the gap served us well, but that was a necessary downtime for us to actually bring the product back with the enhancements that everyone wanted. So this may not look like much. Well, this actually is inaccurate now. I think we're at 22. We have 22 year-round subscriptions now. That pittance that people paid for in the summer is now significantly higher. It is cheaper if you spread it out over what's it costing me per day. But it was a little bit of a shock that you only charged me this last summer. Why are you charging me this now? How much better is it? Well, number one, it's every day, every night, everywhere. And we now have 22 sellers. All of these brand numbers, all of those numbers are different than a few days ago. But here's what's exciting. There's activity. We have at least 2 of these companies who have, if they haven't today, or are very close to having paid off their year subscription, because they're getting the business. And everyone's getting connections. It's beautiful. And all of these buyers, this is not a wish list. These are the buyers who have visited the platform over the last week. And so not surprisingly, Kim's promotional campaign next week is along the lines of, if you lived here, you'd be home. If you'd been on the site, you would have been in front of these buyers. And it's like fish in a barrel right now. Very foolish not to be on there. So we're selling every day. We're thrilled with the activity because it really does come down to that. The education of our team, the re-engineering of our own skill sets is so critical, but it's even more critical for the brands. They cannot continue to sell the way they have. They have to adopt digital as part of their business strategy. We say it's an and, not an or. So that's where we are today. This is our belief that we now are, our portfolio events is now live, digital, and virtual, and it is the business trifecta. And every company should have those assets in their quiver. That's it, Rob.
That's it. I am off mute. I'm back in crown mode. It's so simple. And I have, since Marianne shared that with me, I just sent her one this morning. You are seeing more and more associations switching to helping their exhibitors and their clients, which they should have been doing all along. And if you know anything about the toy industry, they are really nuts. And they do ask things like, we want gender neutral, sustainable, Black owned businesses. I mean, they are very specific and they're planning out way ahead. And the big question to you, Marian, I think is, what happens to these salespeople that used to do this for a living? Are they going to have a job?
Well, yes, if they adapt, I suppose. I think that it really is between the manufacturer's reps and the traditional seller. That is our uphill climb was to convince people this should not be a threat to your business.
Yeah.
But it was there. I think it is still there. The very people that we need to adapt to this selling are the very ones who are fearful that if I do that, if I automate my job, what will happen? Well, we all know it goes well beyond, it's about the relationships sell. And so whether or not you consummate the sale online or you do it at the next trade show, the point is you can't rely on only seeing people face to face. Even our own shows, as good as they are, it's 7 days out of the entire year. You can't survive on that alone.
Yeah, not anymore, right? So thank you so much for doing that. And you really are like technically so proficient. And now I'm ready to switch scenes again with my gavel and introduce Lawrence Coburn, who I just made co-host, but I can't find him. Lawrence?
Hi, Robin.
Thank you. Yes, there you are. Okay, so Lawrence, I actually met on a Twine at Web Summit, right, Lawrence? Web Summit had an after party where it took a lot of nerve, but you could go in a room and just meet various people the way you would in a hall at a trade show event. And there was Lawrence, and I said, so what do you do? And he said, well, I'm sponsoring this Twine thing. And I was in my car and we had this 2-minute conversation on a timer. And I was sold at this amazing engagement that you could have, serendipitous, gotta have a little chutzpah, but not too much. And Lawrence has a great background from his last company to this one. So I just made him a co-host. You should open your chat windows because Lawrence will explain what he does, and then he's going to put the web link for us all to Twine for a while. And as I said in the beginning of the call, if you need to drop off before the end, fine. Just make sure you watch our announcements because you'll definitely want to hear Freeman address you next month and sign up again. And if you can stay till the end, come circle back and tell Lawrence what you thought of twining, which I think is so much fun. So Lawrence, over to you. I'm sending the veg.
Thanks, Robin, for the veg, and thank you very much for having me today. As Robin says, my name is Lawrence Coburn. I'm the founder of a company called Twine, and Twine is a new sort of serendipitous networking app that you can easily add into any virtual event. And so we're going to try it here today. It's pretty experimental. So if you're feeling brave, what I can promise you is you're going to meet probably 5 or 6 people from this group to talk about sort of a structured topic related to our industry. And I guarantee that if you try this thing, you're going to come out of this session with some new friends and some new connections in the industry. So before I get started and we get started together trying the Twine, I thought I would just tell you the founding story. So I've been working in event technology for a long time. So I'm going on 10 years. I was the founder of a company called Double Dutch, which some of you may have heard of. We were kind of a leader in the mobile event app space, and we grew pretty big. And then Cvent bought us in 2019. And so I did not go over to Cvent. I couldn't stop thinking about this thing. And let me tell you a little bit about this thing that I was thinking about. So I'm sort of an awkward and shy person. And during the course of Double Dutch, I had to go to hundreds of events, as you can imagine, right? We were in the event tech industry, and customers would often invite me to come to their event. And you never want to say no when a customer invites you to their event. And so I would show up at these events, and I would invariably go to the networking session. Imagine the big ballroom A that we all used to go to, or in the bar, or in the crowded trade show floor. And I would be there with my beer, and I would be like physically in distress. I would be hunched over. It was so hard for me to approach people, to avoid talking about the weather in Las Vegas, to know how to exit a conversation, to break into a small group that was already there. It was just very difficult for me. And so that was on the one hand, which is I really didn't like the network. But on the other hand, I knew that my personal ROI from going to these events would come down to, did I meet interesting people or not? And sometimes I magically did meet interesting people. The people next to me would change the way I thought about something, or would become a customer, or would become a partner, or just become a friend. But sometimes it would be the sales guy that was trying to sell me something that I didn't want, that I didn't know how to escape from, and it would be really, really miserable. So as a technologist, I was always thinking to myself, there's got to be a better way. I think as planners, we did a great job setting up the venue, providing a bar, having nice music, nice lighting, but then we left the rest up to chance. And so in my mind, as a technologist, I was always thinking about, how can software help people like me? How can software help people connect with the right people, talk about interesting things, exit conversations in a way that is structured and easy and takes the stress out of it for people like me. And so in a nutshell, that's the founding story of Twine. And so we've been experimenting with this very simple system. You can think about it almost like a chat roulette kind of system, where when you tap this link that I'm going to put in the chat, you're going to be asked to sort of authenticate. So use your Google or your LinkedIn, or just type in an email address. And then you are going to be matched with other people from this group of people. So these are one-on-one conversations. They're timed. They're set to 4 minutes. And it's going to sound a little scary for the introverts out there, but it's really, really fun. And I guess my promise to you is that we're all going to meet some new people. So that's the quick context and founding story. So if we're all ready, grab your coffee, depending on what time it is, grab a glass of wine, grab a glass of water, put on your hat, your funny hats like Robin, and let's get into character here. And so what I'm going to ask everyone to do is a couple of housekeeping things. So first, at the top of the hour, why don't we all come back into this Zoom if you still have some more time, because Robin has some announcements. So West Coast time, that's 1 o'clock. East Coast time, that's 4 o'clock. The second thing I'm going to ask everyone to do is go ahead and turn off your camera, turn off your Zoom camera. And so I want to see avatars here. Go ahead and do it right now. Okay, I see cameras going off. This is great. Turn off your Zoom camera, please. Excellent, good. Robin, you too. Okay, and everyone is muted. And so if you get stuck, you can chat requests into the Zoom channel, and my colleague Taylor will help you. So I'm going to go into this Twine as well. So I hope to meet some of you soon. I'm tapping the link into the chat. It's there now. Go ahead and tap on it, and I'll see you in a Twine, and we'll come back here at the top of the hour. Have fun, everybody. I am back.
That was quite the trip.
Yeah, I would love to hear some feedback. Did you have some good combos, Robin?
I
You want to give a thumbs up or thumbs down?
I definitely had some. Let's hear what other people had to say. And let's see, are they re-entering the world? Anybody want to share some thoughts with Lawrence about their trip to Twineland?
You can also paste it in the text. I see some hands. Courtney, do you want to chime in? Oh, sorry. Let me allow people to unmute. Sorry. Okay. This is my first time on a Zoom. No, I'm kidding. I've been on 10 million Zoom. Hi, Courtney.
Hi. So you go first, Danny. You kind of been.
Do I get to go first or Courtney?
Courtney, you're on mute.
Yes, please go first.
Never mind. Hey, yeah, first time here. Very interesting. It was really, I loved the pacing, the getting to meet people. The questions were nice, but we honestly, we just had such a great time getting to meet these new people. I think it's a terrific platform. I'm very excited about it. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
May I go now? Lawrence loved it. I'm by the way really fast. I'm a platform owner. We developed a 3D virtual events platform, and I would love to integrate your solution into our platform. So if you kindly could contact me later on, I would love that. And just one question: a lot of us press the button, share contact information. Where is gonna get those contacts?
Yeah, it drops a bottle into the ocean with a piece of paper. No, I'm just kidding. It sends an email across with a virtual business card. So whatever email address is associated with the account that you signed in with, you should receive an email with a digital business card from the other person. So super simple.
Yeah, and Stas, you're selling yourself short. Stas is up for an award right now for best digital event platform. So I urge you all to look at VII events and see what he's up to. And good luck. We're watching. Yeah, I found myself at the administrator's dashboard at one point, Lawrence. And then I thought I could just pick people from the list to meet. How did I get there?
That's a good question. I don't know how you got there. It's possible that the redirect didn't take you into the room. Were you able to get in there, Robin, eventually?
I went back out and got in all over again.
Okay.
So did anybody else find, or is it just me, who found a little confusion between making a new connection and exiting a room? Those two choice. Okay, thank you. Go on, why don't you elaborate?
And Lawrence, I wish there was a way for us to extend the meeting from the 4 minutes, because sometimes you are in the middle of a really good discussion and it breaks. While the conversation is ongoing, if you can actually extend it on demand instead of breaking it arbitrarily at 4 minutes, that'd be really great.
That's our #1 feature request. I think it's very thoughtful because it feels sometimes like the end is really jarring and you want to just say a few more things. And so we've resisted, and I'll tell you why. It's interesting that it has to be dual opt-in, right? So you'd have to get permission of both sides to extend. And we've heard feedback from users is that they feel uncomfortable saying, oh, sorry, I can't extend. But I think it's an open question, and it's one that our head of product is on the line here. So we're going to keep considering that because we know it's a frequent ask.
Yeah, to solve that problem that you are afraid of, if you can make it like a request, if I'm still talking and click on something that's a request to extend the meeting, the other person either can accept or deny.
I like that thought. Just a gentle, easy one tap, and you don't even have to explain yourself. That's a really good thought.
And if you don't lengthen sell it to Congress.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the Twine filibuster.
Lawrence, and I need to connect together. I think Robin would agree that we might have some synergy between the two of us.
Yes, Gaith has an
That's
amazing
great.
product as well that you should definitely be talking. And Marty, I see Martin Porter. I
Yeah,
see your hand up.
a couple questions. Can you adjust the time from 4 minutes to any length you want as part of your customization?
You can. The longest conversation interval is 59 minutes. We've never had anyone go that long, but yes, each room has configurable settings.
And the thing I didn't like the questionnaire about the speaker, where I had to evaluate at the end. Can I lose that?
We're reevaluating that. So we started as a consumer network, and we were trying to keep things safe, particularly for our women participants. And so it was important for us to get ratings data on every conversation. I agree, it's a little creepy. You don't want to rate people. You want to rate the conversation maybe. So we're looking at that right now.
Yeah, I'd lose that for B2B especially. I'd lose that. It's basically that's when you had me until then, and I can't use it because of that.
Got it. Yeah, we're looking at making that closing outro experience customizable. So the feedback you can send compliments across, making those customizable as well.
But the sending, but I couldn't quite get my hands around the sending video messages at the end. That was a little confusing to me as well.
Thanks. That's good feedback.
There also was not a whole lot of information about an individual. In fact, there was none with most of the ones I was connected with. I didn't know. I thought you were going to have the ability to say, yes, this is a good person for me to talk to or not. I was lucky because everybody I talked to, I enjoyed speaking with, but I thought there was going to be, some kind of choice there where you could, I don't want to say swipe one way or the other, but that kind of,
Well,
kind of thing.
we came in and I validated with LinkedIn. So if there's a way of, putting my LinkedIn there, it would have been nice.
Yeah, and that's a great point because in networking, it matters who you're talking to. So one of the things that we're adding very soon, it might even be this week, is a post first event email where you say, great job, here's the people you met. Now, customize your profile. We're trying not to put too much friction in the way before people get in, because part of the magic is you can just tap and go. But that context of how do we get a rich profile in there is top of mind. We're also looking at integrations with systems like Splash and Hub and Bizzabo and these kinds of things.
Lawrence, it would have been helpful to know that you had to open up in Google Chrome, because I had to log out, log back in to get the URL to work.
Yes, and one thing we just got approved yesterday by Zoom to build what's called a Zap, which is an app that lives in Zoom. So it'll get rid of all of that sort of handoff problem to Chrome and to like logging in, all that stuff will be solved. So hopefully we're only about 60 days away from having something on the Zoom side.
And how many of you went in?
Yep.
I went in with my LinkedIn profile. How many of you went in with your LinkedIn profile? Oh yeah, which was great. And so I think Zap is going to be fabulous, Lawrence. I think it's great. Tony wants to know how you're doing on simultaneous translation, right? Between German and English.
Yeah, so it's a good question. Accessibility is a real thing. Like one of our early customers is Microsoft, and they care a lot about making this accessible to the hearing impaired and these kinds of things. So we're looking at transcription services and things like that now. So, and one of my matches recommended one called, I think, rev.com that they're using. So something we're looking at.
Lawrence, I have a question about embedding your solution into our platform. Is it available?
We just launched embed code this week. So if you want to help us test that, we'd love to have
Amazing.
it.
That's the question. Yeah. Thank you.
Perfect. Great.
Hey, Lawrence, I have a quick question. First of all, amazing work. It was very intriguing, and I was intrigued and engaged with the people that I was talking to. I have a question in regards, we can all change our backgrounds obviously in Zoom, but from a company standpoint, can you change the background of the screen to kind of brand it? And then also, second question is regarding the ding that happens at the 1 minute mark and then 30-second mark. Can that be kind of like how you change your video background with different rings?
I love the idea of customizing the sound because sound adds a lot of personality. Our head of product is on the line, so let's jot that one down. In terms of co-branding the authentication page and the actual rooms themselves, right now we're doing it manually. So one of our early customers is Amazon, and as you can imagine, they care very much about the Amazon brand being on these experiences. So we're brute forcing it today, adding a subdomain like amazon.twine.nyc with a co-brand, but we are productizing that. So you'll be able to upload a logo, choose your colors, choose your font, these kinds of things. So that's coming soon.
So Lawrence, why don't you put your email in the chat window? Because people are asking. Taylor, I'd like the background to be like the bathroom, the water fountain, the hallway, so it would simulate as we walk through the real world where we meet people. I met the best people in the bathrooms. Right? But no, really, it's you have a lot of potential to have a lot of fun with this and do good business also, I think. Lawrence wouldn't be here if I didn't twine with him.
Yeah, good example, right? Like, I mean, I think the heavy thing is none of us are meeting new people like over the last 11 months. And this is a lightweight, easy way to just spend 20 minutes and make 4 new connections. So Robin, thank you very much for having me. I don't want to hijack the rest of your show, so we should get
Yeah,
to
no,
your.
you were a hit. I am just gonna go share this. Let's see, am I gonna share this screen? I lost my, okay, so for those of you who came in at all different times, first of all, I'm so happy you can all invite a friend next month. I'm so happy the turnout, that you stayed, that you liked my gavel, most important of all. But next month, we're going to meet, I'm so bad at dates. Here it is, March 25th. And I really want you to come and hear from the world's largest events company, how they pivoted, what they've done, what they see as the future. And we talked a little bit at the beginning of what hybrids will look like. And if you think they're just going to look like streamed versions of your existing live shows, wrong answer. And I think we're all working really hard. And I see, Cindy, your hand's up. Do you want to ask something?
No,
Oh, your hand's just up. So with that, being mindful of your time, thank you so much for joining us. Visit the site, virtualeventsgroup.org, bang on it. We're building it as fast as we can. We have sponsorship opportunities. We've got consulting opportunities. So like I said, I should have been traveling the world, but this is kind of almost just as much fun. Thank you again, and we'll see you next month. And
thank
then
you, Robin.
you got it.
Thanks,
Bye,
Rob.
everybody.
Thanks, Robin.
Thank you, Robin.
For your time. Bye, everybody.
Thank you. It was amazing. Thank you. Good night.